What's up, Bills Mafia? My name is Devin Long, and you are now tuned in for the second episode of the Down South Bills podcast. Before I get into the pod, I just want to say that all of my insights and opinions are based on hours of film watching and advanced statistics. I am not here to overreact or give insane takes for clicks. I'm just a guy who loves football and wants to talk about it. And with that being said, let's get into the pod. What I'll be discussing today is key matchups in the game of the week between the Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs. First off, I would like to start with the Bills offense versus the Kansas City Chiefs defense. And my big thing is the Bills have to run the ball. We are one of the best rushing teams in the league, and the statistics agree with that. Cook is third in yards before contact this season with 387, and this is a testament to our great offensive line. Our offensive line has been healthy this season, the continuity is great, and that just really pans out on the field. Against Carolina, we really assorted our dominance, and I was there to watch it. It was a beautiful thing to watch. I mean, we ran the toss left about probably 10 or 11 times, and we really were just really super effective on it because of our running scheme and because of the way that we block with our tight ends and our offensive line as a whole. I mean, it's just really amazing to watch this team run the ball. And another thing that I believe we should do is pass to the tight ends. We just don't have it right now on the outside as far as our passing game. I know Keon Coleman is facing a lot of flack right now because of how he's playing, and I don't think that that's necessarily 100% warranted. I know Keon Coleman can play a little bit better, no doubt, but I just think that the way that he's being used in this offense isn't necessarily giving him the best opportunity to succeed. So I do believe that Keon Coleman can grow in his role with this offense, but I think that for the Chiefs, with Palmer being out, we shouldn't really try to test their secondary with McDuffie. I think the best thing for us to do is run the ball with James Cook, something that we're good at, and pass to the tight ends. This is so much more about us than the Chiefs for me, because the Chiefs, to me, their defense has been a little underwhelming so far this season. I know they probably will get it together by the time the playoffs get around here, and they have played a little bit better in these past couple of games, but Chris Jones just really hasn't been who we have expected him to be throughout his career. He just really doesn't seem to have that juice right now, and I expect him fully to get it by the playoffs, maybe even for this game. I know that he has more left in the tank just so far this season. He, as well as their defense, has been underwhelming. So I think that the Bills should just stick to what they're good at and run the ball and pass to the tight ends. I mean, Kincaid is top of the league in separation percentage based on route percentage. So I know that he can get open. And Palmer is also top of the league in separation. He's just not in right now. So I think what we should do is focus on our strengths and don't focus on necessarily on the Chiefs, because it seems like we can always score points on the Chiefs. It seems like the biggest problem for us against the Chiefs is our defense, which is what I'll be getting into next. And so the Bills defense versus the Chiefs offense. And my biggest thing here is speed and discipline. Speed and discipline, speed and discipline. Hancock is a 4.42 in the combine, and Harrison was the fastest person in this past draft. And that is in contrast with Jordan Poyer and Trey White, who are a little bit on the slower side because of their age. But this is why I say speed versus discipline. The Chiefs love to run those crosser routes. I mean, those crosser routes, they make them even more complex than just crosser routes. But everyone knows. Well, if some of you guys don't know, crosser routes are the routes that go across the field. So sometimes drag routes, sometimes it's a little deep crosser, 10 yards or more. But the Chiefs love to run those against man coverage, because it seems to always get either a defender to run into another defender trying to chase across the field, or somehow the defenders are too slow to chase them across the field like that. So sometimes teams try to combat that with like a match zone, or like, I don't know. Some teams can't stop it at all. And so this is why I say speed versus discipline. Hancock and Harrison are young, fast guys, but they may not be as disciplined as Jordan Poyer and Trey White. So I feel like in this game for the Bills, I know they'll probably swap Harrison out for Trey White a couple drives, swap Hancock out for Poyer a few drives. But I feel like this is a game where you should maybe pick your poison. if you're asking me, my opinion is to go with the speed of Harrison and Hancock just because of the upside. We kind of know what we're going to get from Poyer and Trey White. But I understand some people that would think, hey, Poyer and Trey White, if they get beat or not, we know they're gonna be in the right spot, and so I do understand that thought process. But my thought process is Xavier Worthy's a fast guy. I mean, Xavier Worthy's a fast guy. They have Hollywood Brown, who's a fast guy. They have Thornton, who's a fast guy. We can put, of course, Cole Bishop, Taron Johnson on Kelsey, and Juju Smith-Schuster. But for the most part, they have speedy guys. Rashee Rice isn't that slow. So I think for this game against the Chiefs, I think we really need to see what we have as far as our upside and have those guys more experience against the Chiefs. So when we get to the playoffs, those young guys are experienced against the Chiefs. And I just think we already know what we have with Poyer and Trey White. I know that they're gonna be in the right spot. So if you put those young guys in there and they're struggling and the speed is there, but they're in the wrong place, you can bring those older guys in there and help them teach them up throughout the game, and really help them show where they're supposed to be so that that speed can then translate to, hey, now we're disciplined. Now we're showing our speed in the playoffs. So speed versus discipline. And I mean, that also kind of ties into the pass rush because discipline in our rush lanes. We all know that Patrick Mahomes loves to escape the pocket and make teams pay for letting him escape the pocket. So we have to be disciplined in our pass rush lanes, and I really do believe that we can. I know that the injury to Ed Oliver hurts us tremendously. In my opinion, he's been playing like the best player on our defense and possibly an all-pro player. So with him, it's definitely going to be a little bit more difficult, but with Hoyt back, Ogunjobi, and the way that Deion Walker's playing, and also Rousseau on the outside and Joey Bosa on the outside, I think that those guys can handle it, and I think that it's really important for those guys to be disciplined in their pass rushing lanes. Another thing I want to highlight is the Chiefs' averages in the red zone. The Chiefs average 4.25 red zone trips a game and are at 8% pass rate over expected in the red zone. And I also expect this to go up or stay the same, or stay around the same with Pacheco out. So the Chiefs are a pass heavy offense, even not in the red zone, but they're also a pass heavy offense in the red zone. So I think this is also why it's so important for our pass rush to be disciplined, get to the quarterback, stay in your rush lanes, and also for us to have speed and discipline on the back end so that those two things can kind of go together. So that's the defense. Really hope the Bills defense can use those speed guys or at least be very disciplined with Poyer and Trey White out there, and really excited to see this game. Just want to give a prediction kind of a little bit at the end of the pod. So I do think that the Bills can win this game. My prediction is that the Bills win this game 38-21 like they always do. I think it'll be a walk-off field goal or a game-winning drive, but I do have faith in us to win this game. I think that the Chiefs aren't going to be able to stop our run, and I think that with some of the new pieces on our defense, they may not be ready. They may not be ready for those guys as far as scheme wise, just because they haven't seen enough on tape. So I do think the Bills come away with this game. And yeah, if you made it to the end, I really appreciate you listening to the pod. Like, share, subscribe, and thanks again.